Today I bring you an exciting new spellcaster pet build that revolves around sitting in Metamorphosis with 100% uptime. Hey everyone, Shikari Dill here. Today I've got another Ascension build for you that'll have your Felguard hitting really big critical strikes while dealing great damage yourself. If you enjoy my content, I'd really appreciate it if you could support my channel by hitting that like and subscribe button, and let's jump right into it. So what are some things you can expect from this build? Well, it's got great AoE, it's got pretty good single target, and it's really versatile. It's versatile in the sense that you can go either shadow damage with dots, or you can focus more on fire damage with Chaos Bolt, Conflag, and Immolate. No matter your playstyle preference, the core elements of making sure that you take Metamorphosis and keeping your Felguard buffed up are key to this build. The couple of drawbacks of this build are that it's an off-meta build at the moment, you have to manage your demon pet a little bit, and the rotation can be kind of involved depending on your playstyle preference. So for skill cards, you're going to want to take Summon Felguard and Demonic Empowerment. If you're going for a more fire route, then I would suggest taking Chaos Bolt. Otherwise, if you prefer going Shadow Dots, then I would take Haunt. But definitely make sure you have that Felguard. Some other notable abilities you're going to want to look out for if you go the fire route like I did are Immolate, Conflagrate, Fire Blast, and Shadow Burn. Even though I'm the fire route, I took Shadow Bolt and Corruption, and I'll tell you why I took those in the talent section. So for your legendary ability, it should go without saying that you want to take Metamorphosis, as this is the bread and butter of your build. As a PvP player, I also like to take Fear, as I think it synergizes really well with this sort of build. At level 1, I would suggest rolling until you get Demon Skin and Life Tap. For AoE, you're going to want to look for Hellfire. So jumping right into talents, you're going to want to take all the talents that increase our Felguard's damage and critical strike. This includes talents like Unholy Power, Demonic Tactics, and even the Beastmaster Hunter's talent Kindred Spirits. All these talents will help with stacking lots of damage on our Felguard. Another big talent you'll want to grab is Molten Core. This talent is the reason that even if you go the fire route, you should be taking Shadow Bolt and Corruption, as Corruption will give you a chance to make your Shadow Bolt deal a lot of extra damage and increase critical strike. This is actually really solid as a filler spell and scales with a lot of our destruction talents. Another really important talent to take is Nemesis. This talent in conjunction with our Enchants allow us to get Metamorphosis down to a 9-second cooldown, essentially allowing us to stay in it indefinitely. And the reason why this is such a huge deal for this build is because of our legendary enchant, Demonic Influence. This enchant is what this whole build is based around, and it's a lot of fun. After entering Metamorphosis, your Felguard gains a 50% damage buff. This 50% buff from our Metamorphosis, plus our talents, and a mechanic in which the Felguard can stack its own attack power up to 10 times, can really rack its damage up pretty high. For epic enchants, I like to use Raising Hell, Chaos Manifesting, and Demonic Synergy. So Raising Hell is a great enchant for AoE, and it's also a lot of fun. Whenever you use Hellfire, so does your Felguard. It does a ton of damage when stacked up with your demon. If you want to just go all out with a crazy AoE build for M+ type stuff, you could definitely pair this with enchants like Blaze and Dusk Till Dawn. So I like to take the enchant Demonic Synergy because it allows our Felguard to crit more consistently. So this basically makes spell crit a very important stat for this build, because in addition to our talents, which increase our Felguard's critical strike chance, now it also scales off of when we ourselves get a critical strike, which is what we want because the Felguard can crit for pretty high numbers. And then we have Chaos Manifesting, which is a really good enchant because it just buffs our damage either way, whether it gives us the fire buff or the shadow buff. Because since even though I use the fire spells, when it buffs the shadow stuff, Shadow Bolt is my main filler due to the Molten Core talent, so this is a really big damage increase. For non-epic enchants, I like to use Dark Embrace, Critical Mass, Unholy Power, and Nemesis. Do note that any talents or enchants that specify Tamed Pet in the description will not affect your Felguard. So when you put all of that together, this is what your rotation should look like. Start by entering Metamorphosis and make sure to keep that up at all times. Then apply your dots and reapply when necessary to make sure they're on your target at all times. Then you're going to want to make sure you use Chaos Bolt, Conflagrate, and Demonic Empowerment on cooldown. And then for your main filler, you're going to use Shadow Bolt. Do keep in mind that when you get the Molten Core buff from her talents, you're actually going to want to prioritize Shadow Bolt over Chaos Bolt most of the time. And that about covers it for my version of this build. I said this build was pretty versatile earlier because it is. You can either go with a Chaos Bolt fire route like I did, or you can prioritize using Shadow Dots and rotting your opponent away with Drain Life. As long as you have the core components that buff your Felguard like Demonic Influence and the talents that are really important to get that damage high on it, it's really up to you how you want to play it. And again, it's not the strongest build, but it really is a lot of fun. And when I play Project Ascension, that's really what I'm going after, is what builds can I play that are a little bit off meta and really fun. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'd really appreciate it if you support my channel by hitting that like button and subbing to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.